Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have 4 different cases of retail fraud, all involving thefts that occurred at Walmart, including several cases of stealing someone's purse, and a man who was hired to work at Walmart who then thanked them for the job by stealing something from them nearly every day he worked there. What kind of excuses do they have for their behavior? And does the judge believe what they have to say? Let's watch and find out.
Good morning. You're Tanya Marie Moeller. Do you prefer Yoder or Moeller? I can't. All right. All right. This is file number 23878SM. Tanya Marie Moeller. Miss Moeller pled guilty to a larceny under $200 at an earlier hearing. She waived her right to counsel and entered the plea. And I wanted to know more about it, including I wanted to watch the video of the transactions at the Walmart store. And so I did do that. The prosecutor's office provided me with that, and I watched them before, and then I watched them again yesterday. It's hard to exactly see what's what. So you entered your plea. The date was December 7th, and I set the matter for sentencing today. Get through Christmas and look at the video. So are you willing to proceed to the sentence at this point? Even if you asked me now, I would appoint an attorney for you. You waived your right to an attorney at the time of the plea, but if you want me to appoint one, even now, I'll offer that opportunity. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
All right. What would you like me to know?
One, I have, as of the beginning of January, took residency in Rome City, Indiana. Signed the lease actually yesterday, dated for the 4th, because we had to do a vetting check. But still working, very part-time, to the point where I'm going to get another job. It's the only reason I haven't put anything on said restitution we talked about last time.
Yes, $180.
Yeah. So.
Well, what did you do with the contents of the?
I didn't do anything with them. I never seen the contents that was inside the bag. Because like I said, I was going to take it back in. My son, who was in the car with me, along with a friend of his and my dog, proceeded with it. Once I got to the car, he got a hold of it. And at that point, I wasn't going where he put it. So I don't know where they went.
You got out of the car. I watched the video and you're driving. And I didn't see anyone else get in the car. They must have.
No, they were already in the car. Yes.
So they were sitting. I couldn't.
Waiting for me to come out of Walmart.
I couldn't tell that there was anyone else in the car. All right, but you get in the car and you sit there you open the trunk and you put something in the trunk. I'm not sure what that was.
When I come out of Walmart with that, I had stuff in my hand. I set it down to go back in. When I got to the car, my son had a pile, long story, but there was a pile of stuff in my seat that I had to deal with. That was his stuff. So I put my purse and the things that I had down in the car. And that's how I ended up losing control of said little pouch.
Well, you walked back out. Opened the trunk for just a second, shut it, got in the car and sat in the car for several minutes without moving, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. And then you got out of the car and threw something in the trash. And then you got back in the car and drove away. And so I never saw
I ran out of gas 20 minutes later. But yeah.
All right. So I didn't see you get in the car, take stuff out of the seat, put it in the trunk. You just got in the car.
Right.
And then you were in there for a few minutes before you moved, but you got out of the car, threw something away. What was that?
Stuff that my son had, like, in my seat. You know, my seat's pretty wide. Yeah, it's,
Well, I couldn't really tell. You sat there for several minutes before you got out. and-
collect
There's
stuff
something
that was
like-
next to me to throw away.
Well, you took this purse with
Out of
this
the cart in the
yes.
store, yes, I
Yes.
did, and that's why I pled guilty. I will be responsible for that because nobody should use that stuff.
Right.
I wouldn't want to.
Well, you lied about it to the officers and now you're throwing your son under the bus. So it's like
Well-
it's all his fault.
Not so much his fault, his time, place, his demeanor. To the point where that day after court, I did try to, or there was I think it was a thing with the prosecutor when I was in jail over it,
Mhm.
that my child's not I tried filing a PPO against him for being threatened in the Myers parking lot. More than once.
How long were you in jail?
Probably 24 hours or less, either
That's
just
what-
over, or just under 24 hours.
That's what it looks like. You got arrested on the 16th and bonded later that same day.
Yeah.
And it's not just the cash, but what you also hate to lose is your identification.
I agree.
And so his identification, insurance card, food stamp card, all just cavalierly thrown away.
I do not know if my son still has them to this day. That's the thing.
Probably not. That isn't the kind of thing you.
I've seen him with several other ones, so. But
I don't know. I mean, I watched the video, which shows as much as it shows, but
I'm the one that picked it up out of the cart in the store, so
yes,
I feel responsible.
well, you are. I don't have any bond money in here. I thought perhaps I did, but it's all PR bond. And again, I don't have the benefit of prosecutor input. I did get a restitution request for $180, not to mention the stuff that's in it. I told you the story. My son set his wallet down once at Walmart and it was
Mhm.
disappeared.
That's what happened to me. It's,
Another one lost his wallet at Toys R Us. It was a Turtles wallet, Ninja Turtles wallet with a bunch of his savings in it. It all disappeared. So people like that have not good character.
well,
So
I still don't have electric on at my residency due to the use of my social security card by my son and his baby mama. There was $175 deposit that I paid 3 weeks ago to do that.
all right, well, I'm gonna do a 6-month probation because I
Okay,
want to get this restitution paid or I'll just put you in jail.
okay,
I'm gonna order 21 days jail, credit 1, leaving 20 days to serve. Of the 21 days, 20 are deferred. The fine is 0. I don't need money, but the $75 crime victims' rights fee,
Mhm.
$50 state minimum fee, a $240 probation oversight fee, and restitution of $200. In addition to the money, there were the contents and the actual pouch to Richard Roll. You're barred from Walmart for 1 year.
so I don't have a problem with that.
Let's add that up. 75, oops. Crime victims' rights fee, $50, state minimum fee, $240, probation oversight fee, $200, restitution is $565. You can be discharged from this probation as soon as 3 months. Once the restitution is paid, I would be inclined to discharge you from this probation. Drugs and alcohol are not an issue here, but I'm ordering that. All right. It is warm in here. It's not your imagination. It's cold outside. It's about 84 in here, but I didn't order the economic crime class, which maybe you could have benefited from. But I basically am putting you on this probation just to get this paid. All right, Ms. Mueller, you take this form downstairs to the probation department.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're good to go. All right, I'm gonna call this case. This is People of the State of Michigan versus William Michael Kaufman. Mr. Kaufman is here at the court. This matter was set for sentencing today at 4 o'clock. It's 3:56. We'll spend a little time here before we actually get rolling, but he was charged with larceny over 200, but less than $1,000. He came in for his arraignment and pled guilty to that charge, waived his right to counsel, and I set the matter for sentencing today because I needed some more information. And you're here today. I set it especially at 4 o'clock so you wouldn't have to miss work. And you're here. And when I took your plea, I went through the advice of rights with you and advised you that you had a right to have an attorney. And you waived that right. Even now today, before we proceed, if you wish to change your mind and have a lawyer here with you, I can have one appointed. Otherwise, we're ready to proceed with sentence.
I just want it taken care of.
All right, you're ready to proceed again without a lawyer? I tried to confirm with Secure Domes that you were still there, and there wasn't anybody there that knew what was going on. So are you still there?
Yeah. Who'd you talk to? The one in,
The person's English wasn't their first language.
I said there's one in Chicago and there's one in Sturgis.
No, they talked to the one in Sturgis.
But I don't, like, nowadays, there ain't really nobody in the office.
Yeah, they didn't seem to know much, but anyway, you're here. Well, I got the police report and they're asking for $400 restitution. And according to this, they had.
I try not to get in trouble.
Yeah, sometimes it sneaks up on you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I try not.
This had medical insurance cards, driver's license, prepaid Visa debit cards from Family Dollar, bridge card, ATM card, $3 or $4 in cash, mostly $20 bills. So it's certainly a hassle to lose all that stuff, your insurance card, your credit card, your driver's license. But the prosecutor submitted something requesting $400. I wasn't really satisfied with your answer about what happened to it. This was way back on July 11th. They didn't get around to arresting you until January 18th.
Yeah, it was a while later.
Well, October 28th, they requested the warrant. So you took the purse, and I was going to watch the video, but once you just acknowledged that you took it, I didn't watch it. But the lady left her purse there when she made some purchases. You came up, purchased some meat.
And I picked it up.
And picked it up. Then you lied to the police about it, and then they submitted it to the prosecutor. They got a warrant. And then when I saw you, you admitted it.
Yeah,
So
me
this
and
was
me and Joel don't really see eye to eye.
Okay,
That's,
Officer here.
yeah.
All right, so you took it. What did you do with it?
It said at my house that I was moving in, where I live now. I was working on it. And it came up missing because people were in and out of my house.
See, I'm not sure I buy that. It had cash, lots of cash. Did you take the cash out and buy anything with it?
No, I didn't do anything with it. I didn't use her cards or nothing.
All right, well, someone took it. She never got it back.
Yeah, I took it, but I mean,
No, but I mean, someone
yeah.
took it from you, so we don't know where it went.
Yeah. And that's another reason why I try not hanging with nobody now. Well, I did anyway.
Well, this is you. This is just
Yeah.
bad. It was there, you stole it. I'm not sure I believe your story about someone then stole it from you. But you certainly never returned it. You lied to the police when they came to ask you about it. They didn't, they finished the investigation, watched all the videos, found it, realized it was you. Prosecutor authorized it. They didn't get around to arresting you till January, and you posted $100 bond.
200, I think it was.
Well, it says, you said 200, but I only see one $100 bond in here.
Yeah, I gave him 2. Cause I called Rachel. I think it was.
Well, Rachel is the bonding company,
Yeah,
so,
she told me that's what it was though.
well, you don't,
Yeah, I didn't know. This is all new to me.
all right, $100 bond. Yeah, you posted 2 $100 bonds. That's good. So you're now living on Town Line Road at Borough.
Yeah. I'm still working on it. It's a junk trailer. Like a 1970 some or something.
Is it a rental or did you buy it?
No, farmer owns it. I'm just renting off him.
All right.
He was actually gonna demolish it. He told me I could work on it. I'm like, all right,
But you got power and,
yeah,
all right, all that.
yeah, propane and power.
Okay, and plumbing?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, I had to get all that stuff going
Well, everybody needs a place to live, but
because he was gonna rip it down.
well,
But he knows how like he told me it's hard to even find places, so he's just trying to help me out.
it's probably not lawful to rent, but it's out in the township, so there's no zoning. I'm itching to put you in jail for this, but you've been cooperative. You've showed up with everything, and if I put you in jail, you're gonna lose your job, and this lady's not gonna get her money.
So I thank you for that.
Somebody took my wallet and credit card. I told you my story too. Stole my kids' wallets twice.
Really?
Yeah, they set them down and somebody took them. One was a Ninja Turtles wallet. He didn't have his ID and everything in it. Same son lost his wallet again.
And like I said, I know this is wrong. This is why I want it taken care of too. I understand. I would hate for someone to take my wallet. I had it happen a year ago at Taco Bell. That's because I left it. I drove 2 miles down the road and went back to get it, and it was gone by then.
Yeah. So then the same thing happened and you did it to somebody else. There's a $75 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $100 fine, $400 restitution to Lisa Rizek. You're barred from Village Market in Colwyn. 1 year. The elderly lady that waited on you didn't have any memory of this. She don't like me calling her elderly, but she's about my age.
You guys can't be that old, I wouldn't imagine.
Elderly's in the eye of the beholder. I don't feel elderly. Anyway, I don't like this, but let's add that up. That's $625. 1 day in jail, credit 1 day. And you have $200 of bond. When it came to getting out of jail, you were able to come up with the money. You have $425. Now to make that due by April,
I can pay it today.
all right?
Can I use a card here?
Yep,
We'll
send
take
you
care of
out
it
to the
today.
counter.
Where do you go for that?
They'll take you out here and they'll give you some instruction. All right, this isn't gonna make this lady whole, $400. She had to go to the SOS, she had to stop all her credit cards. You don't owe me any other money. You're working, don't wanna make you lose your job. You accepted responsibility the first time I talked to you. You waived your right to
Yeah, I
counsel.
didn't wanna,
Well, you didn't beat around the bush, you just
Yeah.
told me what you did, but
Well-
I don't think I buy your story
half
about.
the people I know, that's all they are is problems, so.
It really doesn't matter whether you bought ice cream cones and cigarettes with this money, it's gone. And whether somebody stole it from you, I don't know, but you precipitated it. All right, see judgment. What'd you do if you lost your credit card?
I'd flip too, that's what I was saying, I'd flip out.
All right,
If I didn't realize it ain't even in my back pocket, I'll flip out.
well, I'm sure this lady flipped out. She went all over the place. They did all this rigmarole to find it. But ultimately, you did accept responsibility for it. The statute presumes there is not a jail sentence, and putting you in jail makes you lose your job. All right, you go with the court officer. I want you to pay that.
All right.
Prosecutor didn't provide any additional input other than
Thank
what we
you.
got. All right. Next time you see somebody's wallet there, pick it up,
I'm running.
hand it to the clerk. Or
All
don't
right.
touch it.
Either that or I'm running the opposite way. Thank you.
All right. I really didn't like that. Let's see how this is. All right. Sorry about the delay. We are ready to begin our 10:30 sentence. We're about 12 minutes behind. Just as we were starting, my keyboard locked up in mid-sentence. So I replaced the batteries. That didn't fix it. So IT came with a new keyboard and plugged it in, and that didn't work either. So the solution was to turn everything off, which seemed to solve the problem. Except then I had to turn everything back on, which is about 10 different applications. So they're all open. Everybody is here and we're ready to go. So let's get to it. This is file number 24489FY. Mr. Carr, would you come up and have a seat with your lawyer? This is entitled People versus DeZabriel Zabian Carr. Was charged as a retail fraud in the first degree as a felony over $1,000. The defendant is here with his attorney, Casey Strong. Also present is Melissa Halleck from the prosecuting attorney's office. The matter was reduced at the time of the pre-exam conference to a charge of retail fraud over 200 but less than 1,000. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000 or 3 times the value of the property. Defendant entered his plea, as I stated, at the time of the pre-exam conference, and that was on April 23rd. We agreed at that time that the restitution was $1,026.24. I wanted to see the police report, which which I got and reviewed last week and again early this morning, the scope of the thefts sort of was I don't know, distressing to me. This was very well documented. There must be 100 videos in here of every aspect of these thefts. The defendant was an employee at Walmart, and I think Walmart takes this very seriously. Put a lot of time and effort into this investigation. I think the number is agreed upon, $1,041, but it is less than $1,000 the way it's charged. So, Ms. Strong, what would you like me to know?
Your Honor, first for the record, it's $1,026.71.
I wrote 102624, but
I have 7-1 on all my paperwork.
all right.
And in reviewing the police report and in reviewing the pattern here, Mr. Carr, we're not here to make excuses. We are here to offer some explanation. We see in the pattern of theft that most of the items that were taken were items of clothing, they were personal care items, they were cleaning supplies. I see some work or job interview attire, and then later some steel-toed boots. You see gloves and children's hats when it was February and it was starting to get cold. So I'm not sitting here and Mr. Carr is not sitting here making excuses, but we know that sometimes desperate times make people do desperate things. Mr. Carr wasn't here taking Xboxes and televisions and high-dollar items to later sell. He was taking items that were needed for his family because he didn't have the resources to buy them for himself. And Mr. Carr, at this point, has 1-day jail credit. He has no criminal history that I know of. He's working nights. He just got a job. He's the primary source of income. He has a 6-year-old child. And I would ask the court to sentence Mr. Carr in light of his lack of criminal history, in light of the fact that this was a necessity crime. The first thing he said to me when we started talking was that he had no problem paying this back. It's a large sum of money, and he intends to make the victim, Walmart, in this situation whole by paying it back. And that's a consequence in and of itself, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Carr, I'll give you the last word, but Ms. Halleck, what would you like me to know?
It is a significant amount, and looking at some of those items, I can agree with some of the argument. The issue is there's been no, I guess when I was defense, I would always advise my clients, you start paying up front, you get something on the record to show some good faith. I'd like to start seeing that from some of the defendants, not that that's it's not something that defendants always do, even when advised by defense counsel. But this is a lot of money, and not being able to afford some of those items. Some of the things that were mentioned are things that you can get for free around here. We have a lot of generosity in different places in the community where you can go to get coats or gloves or whatever you need. If you're resourceful, and not resort to stealing from your employer. I think there needs to be a significant amount of jail held over his head if he's not consistent on these payments, and we come back here, that he needs to understand that there is going to be that accountability.
Mr. Carr, what would you like me to know?
I'm sorry for my actions. I'm not even that type of man. I was in desperate need, just trying to provide for them. I'm truly a good person. I want you to get to know me. Yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm not even that type of person.
I don't deny that. I think you probably are a good person. You had a case that started as a misdemeanor, was reduced to disturbing the peace. Then you had some minor traffic stuff, but other than that, really no criminal record, certainly no theft. But this was distressing to me. You stole it in several different ways, but in a 30-day period, there were 20 separate thefts. I don't know how long you worked there, but you essentially stole something every day when you came to work, several different ways. And your lawyer's right. It was a lot of children's clothes, some men's clothes, a few items like teeth whitening strips and that sort of thing. But they've got you on video in every one of these things. And Walmart takes employee theft. If every employee did this, the company would be broke. But essentially, every day that you went to work, you stole something. The fact that it was children's clothing and other stuff. I don't even know what to make of it, but literally every single, well, I don't know if you had some days, what the lowest amount you ever stole was $9 and it was up to $150. So if you'd have kept working there, I don't know if you just kept stealing something every single day. T-shirts, underwear, dress pants, women's clothing, children's clothing. There were the steel-toed boots. But this sort of was shocking. So you are a good person perhaps, but this is terrible indication of bad character. Someone gives you a job. This is worse than they didn't charge it as embezzlement. The store was closed and you were working there, apparently stocking or other things. And so there was an element of trust. Walmart hired you to work there and you paid them back by stealing from them every day. And to say, well, I intend to pay it back. So far, as we've indicated, not any of it has been paid back. And I don't know if it's better that you weren't stealing beer and cigarettes and electronics. It was mostly a lot of children's clothing. And then some adult clothing. But you thought you were good at it, but you weren't. Walmart's got cameras all over the place. They have cameras, high definition cameras directly at the checkout. Hopefully they're going to do away with self-scanning. Cameras in the aisles, cameras in the parking lot, cameras in the entrance door, and they've got you on video in each sequence of this. So to say I'm sorry, it's easy to say, but the fact is you stole from them dozens of items. I didn't add them all up. I don't know if there were more than 100, dozens of items on 20 separate occasions. So if you were a customer and you came in there on January 29th and you stole $43 worth of stuff, and then you came in on February 1st and you stole $53 worth of stuff, and then you came in on February 5th and you sold $69 worth of stuff, and then you came in on February 8th and you stole $153 worth of stuff. That would be 20 separate retail frauds, which is essentially what this is. And the problem is, if I put you on probation to pay the restitution, it costs money for you to be on probation, $40 a month, which is all money away from your family. Are you still working at Peterson Springs?
Yes, sir. Just got out today.
I'm gonna do a probation. But you're gonna go to jail. I was gonna put you in jail for 1 day for every time you stole something. But as your lawyer points out, it was mostly clothing, but as Miss Halleck says, there were other resources for it. All right, second degree. 75356D. I'm gonna order 10 days in jail. Credit 1. Which are gonna be served on weekends. I don't want you to lose your job. Probation department's gonna arrange your jail time. The fine is 0. There's no sense putting a fine on this. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, a $150 attorney fee. I'm gonna try a 6-month probation, which is the shortest I can do it if you can pay it off, and that's $480. There's restitution to Walmart. I do have some bond here, that helps, of $1,027. Let's add all that up. 75, 50, 150, 1027. We don't have the embezzlers group anymore to speak of. I probably would have put that in there, but that also raises the cost. Total is 1,000. That's not right. 125, 150, 480, 1027 equals 1,782. Minus $200 of bond leaves 1,582. Let me make sure I actually have a bond. Yes, 200. Although it was a 2010%. So the court keeps 10% of the 10%. So there's 180. So 1,782 minus 180 is 1,602. Now, if you do this in 90 days, I can cut the probation in half. It would save you $240, but you're gonna have 5 weekends of jail to do, 4.5, because there needs to be a jail sanction for 20 thefts of dozens of items while you were a trusted employee of the company. But I don't want you to lose your ability to support your family. Or,
Can I ask something?
yes?
What happened when they mandate me? Because we always get mandated like every other week to work the weekends.
Well, we'll work it out. You may have to do 1 day at a time or something, but I want you to take this form right here downstairs to the probation department. And I'll get you started. If we got to do it 1 day at a time for 10 weeks, so be it. But you learned it. So you take this downstairs to probation, and the sooner you get the jail done and the fine paid off, you can be discharged from probation. But while you're on this probation, everybody has no drugs and no alcohol. I don't get the impression drugs or alcohol were a part of this. If you were stealing X game box controllers and that sort of thing, those are the things that can be sold. So I don't think drugs or alcohol are an issue here, but everybody has this condition. All right, you're good to go. Robin Holtz. This is file 231022, People versus Robin Ann Holtz. That's you?
Yes, sir.
And you're here with your lawyer, Mr. Paul Gibson.
Yes.
You were charged with retail fraud in the 2nd degree for some things that occurred at Walmart in March of 2023. You pled guilty on October 3rd of 2023, and the matter was set for sentencing. Then we learned that we knew that there was a warrant for you in the state of Ohio for some sort of a fraudulent check charge, but they took you into custody here on an open warrant. You had medical problems too. You had a problem with your foot. But what day did you go to jail in Ohio? In January?
I went from here straight to jail, and then they came and got me. So that was
January 16th.
Yes.
She was transferred after 9 days here. She went January 16th there and spent
9
86
days
days
here.
in Ohio. I called this morning and got the numbers. And
What
was
jurisdiction was that?
That was Champaign, Ohio. And the 4 felonies were reduced to a misdemeanor plea. They did come up with a reimbursement. And so once they got the restitution, they just called it good with the 86 days that she had in there. So she is all done with them.
I have a $500 court cost that I have to pay yet.
Was that in there, Dan? Did I miss that?
I just got that, all that numbers this morning.
Okay. Well, I was inclined to give you some jail time because I didn't feel that you were completely candid about what happened. But in the meantime, you did 86 days in jail. And that certainly was very disruptive to your family. It left your husband as a single dad with 5 kids. You had a problem with your foot. Did you get any medical treatment in Ohio?
No.
How's your foot?
Since being back, I did get in to see my doctors, and my doctor, he said that everything is fine. It looks like it healed fine, thankfully. He is a little concerned about the squishy lumps that I have in there, but other than that, it looks okay.
So what happened? How did your family fare while you were sitting in jail in Ohio?
It was hard. It caused my mother to have some medical problems. Mr. Frazee wanted me to learn a lesson, and I have to say that the lesson has definitely been learned. Not only did this bother me being so far away from my family, I think it hurt my family more because it put big time financial burdens on them. It caused my husband to have to find a babysitter to take care of my daughter while he was working and take her back and forth to school. And being in Ohio definitely gave me a wake-up call. The things that I seen down there from people that were on the drugs and stuff like that, the withdrawals that they had just totally scared the hell out of me.
How big was this jail?
It was big. The women, we had two different, they called them pods down there. One was an open bay and the other was max, where we had our own rooms with like anywhere between 2 to 4 people in the room, and we were locked down at night.
Well, you had never done much jail before. You had a history of stealing, 3 days, 9 days, 7 days, but you got a great big dose of reality courtesy of the state of Ohio.
I did. It was really hard because during this whole time, my husband told me he wanted a divorce. And
well, as I understand it, you ended up maybe carrying his freight. You took the lumps for what happened in Ohio, but I'm not sure that he wasn't.
It was both of our fault, and I did do the time for it. Is it something that I regret doing for my family? No. But
You don't regret stealing
no, I don't regret doing or taking,
responsibility.
yes.
And there's no restitution here, correct?
No, they told me, she said just now, she owed 500, but they told me when I spoke. to
No,
her-
here in St.
Oh,
Joe
no, I
County.
contacted Walmart 3 times and Devlin never got back with me, so I guess because they got the material, all the stuff back, they probably called it good.
Which is what I'm gonna do. You did 1 day at the front end and 9 days at the other end, which is 10 days. I was struggling on what I was gonna do because of the disruption to your family.
I have, since being home, I have also started looking for employment. I am trying, even though being down there scared the hell out of me to the point I'm never wanting to do drugs, don't even want to talk about them, look at them, nothing. But as an addict, it is always going to be a part of my life. I am looking for some sort of programs that can help.
Well, we used to have a very comprehensive and excellent embezzlers treatment program. It sort of fell apart when the circuit court quit using it because many embezzlers or property criminals are women like you, and there's a childhood trauma component to embezzlement. And that's you. And if we sort of have a vestige of it, and I probably would have tried to put you in that program.
And they can wait up to sometimes 4 or 5 months to get enough
Yes.
people to go.
And so I'm just gonna give you 10 days credit, 10 days. I'll just do the Michigan time, leaving 0 days to serve. The fine is 0. There's no restitution. You're barred from Walmart for 1 year. You must have admitted some criminal responsibility, which you said you did, so it wasn't just a mistake. But Ohio took their punishment. 10 days, credit 10 days, $275. I'll put you on a payment plan. All right. I'm not gonna do a probation. There's no money to collect. You just did 90 days in jail. I think you could probably benefit from the embezzlers program, but it's not what it once was, so I'm not gonna order it. All right, I want you to go out to the counter. I'll help you. I'd like you to pay at least $50 per month.
So you said how much?
50.
50 a month?
Can you do that?
Yeah.
All right. Now you got to start over again. When did you get back? Mr. Gibson and I were in communication while you were gone, and we were gonna maybe even try to do it by Zoom from down there. I think we even had started the process. And
I
then,
was released from down there on April 2nd.
then he emailed me and said you were back. All right, you can go out to the counter. We will set up a payment plan. And I suspect I won't see you again, which would be fine with me. If you do, it means I made a mistake by not putting you in the embezzlers program, but you've got a compulsion sometimes that you can't control. And I encourage you to try to get some help. All right, you're good to go if you take her out to the counter. Melissa, thank you for being here. Daniel, thank you for your help.
Thank you, John.